Hello everyone. In today's video, I wanted to share a very big layout share. So I didn't count how many layouts I have here, but I have a lot to share with you guys. I thought I'd go through kind of my latest layouts I've done. Some of these I have process videos on, some of these I do not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started because we have a lot to get through. The first layout I wanted to show is using the what is this called? This was introduced to collection from Stampin' Up! In last year's catalog, and I really loved kind of the country vibes of this photo, and I combined it with these dies that I think are in even the last chance section. They're the Round You Go dies. That doesn't sound entirely right, but they're the dies that you can create these really cool little embellishments with, and the stamps are in that same die set. And then this I just use my Cricut to die cut out these letters and added some gold ink to that. And then some of these gems are also from Stampin' Up, but I loved how this layout turned out, and I even kind of used some embossing around this label just to make it a little bit more festive to document a wedding that we went to. The next layout is actually a single page spread. This is using a scrapbook kit from Hobby Lobby. I didn't even know they did scrapbook kits, but I love the paper in there. They still have that kit in Hobby Lobby right now. And all the stamps are from Hobby Lobby and Michael's, but a lot of these are just like with the kit. And I love that. I remember when I was small, they did these kits in like Joann's, and I feel like they're starting to kind of disappear. So I loved how this whole page turned out just using one simple kit. The next layout is one using the storybook moments from Stampin' Up, and the layout or the design, the sketch is from in the catalog. They had, I think, just like a one page or maybe two, I can't remember, but I wanted to document these photos of my little kitties in the yard. I used a combination of a couple of things. Most of these are just from the storybook, like the die cuts that come with it, and then some of these are just like stamps from my stash and some dies, but I really love how this turned out. It's really cute. I'm just gonna put that here. The next layout is using Echo Park paper. I tend to use a little bit of everything. If I would have to say, it's close to my heart, like stash paper, Stampin' Up, and then I do like Echo Park. I think they use very vibrant colors. So the papers from Echo Park, and then like these letters are, I think, from Thickers. I got some close to my heart little die cut pieces, and then these tags I just created myself, and this one I added some embossing lines to it. This is a close to my heart embossing folder, and then the stamps are just from my stash. But I loved how this layout turned out for our Nashville trip we did last year. This is another layout from our Nashville trip. It's a very vibrant layout. Normally I don't really go super vibrant with my colors like this, but I probably put this together in like, I want to say 40 minutes, like super quick. I just cut out some circles, distressed this. The paper is from Taylor, oh shoot, I forgot her name, Adventure. So it's like her adventure layout from, if I can find it, I'll link it down below, but it's like a very vibrant collection. Oh shoot, I forgot the name, but I think it's something adventure, and everything from this is actually from that kit. The letters, she has like special die cuts that you can buy separately, and I do like how this looks. Normally I'm not a super big fan of like the vibrant colors, but I loved how everything tied out nicely with the photos I had. The next layout is one using the Everyday You and Me collection from Stampin' Up. I love this collection. I love the tones in this, and then I just backed it with some mossy meadows, and I just love how this looks. I love all the tones in the paper, and this like sketch is from or layout is from a sketch from the Creative Memories, not Creative Memories, or is it Creative Design Team? That's what it was. And then all of the dies are from one of my favorite die sets. It's Country Lace or Country Woods. And I remember when I first saw it, I was like, will I really use this a lot? but it's such a great set for the little flowers that come with it. Let me quickly see what that one was called. So this is a set, it's called Country Flowers, and when I first saw this, I was like, well, I don't really use this that much. I've used these dies, like the little sprigs and the flowers, so often on my layouts. So yeah, I really like how the little flowers look, and then I added a couple little gems, and then the stamp is just something I had from my stash. And then this is alphabet stamp set from Stampin' Up. It's really, really pretty because you can add these like cute little vines to it. So that is the layout using the Everyday You and Me. Then I have a single spread layout using the Mediterranean paper pack from Stampin' Up. And I added, this paper is not from that. This is just some yellow gingham, not gingham print, but just like very, very tiny little, I don't even know, the word is blanking on me, but it's a very, very subtle print because this is quite busy. And then the lemons I just cut out from that paper collection. And then these flowers as well, and some of these I stuck up on some dimensionals just to provide a little bit more dimension to this page. And then this Taco Night title is from a Stamp From I set. I think it's from Close to My Heart. So, and then of course I love adding some shimmery trim just to add a little bit of an extra element. This next one is also a single spread layout, and this is using this is not Echo Park, this is Simple Stories camping paper. I really liked the camping paper from Simple Stories, and then I just added a couple of die pieces that were also from Simple Stories. And this is just like such a quick and easy layout to put together when you have these die pieces, just because I feel like with busier paper like this, you don't have to add a lot for it to just look nice and vibrant and, you know, fill up the page. So I really liked how this one turned out. The next layout is one I did have a process video on quite recently, so I'm not going to talk too much about this one. This is using the Weekend Adventures scrapbook kit from Stampin' Up. I really love how this one turned out. I love the stickers. Ooh, this one moved a little bit. The stickers are from Michaels. I have all the products that I use listed in the description of that video. And then these dies are just so amazing. They're the Scenic Adventure dies. So you can do a lot with these to create like cool titles or little sceneries on cards or scrapbook layouts. The next layout is from also paper collection from Stampin' Up. I added these beautiful flowers from Close to My Heart set. I've used these flowers on so many layouts, and again, these are the flowers from that one kit that I just showed you guys, the flower market kit. That's not what it's called, but it's the one I just pulled up. I love these little flowers, and I love adding little gems to the center of it just to create a little extra contrast and dimension. I just love that. And then I again added some shimmer strips just because I love adding that to my layout just to have a little bit of extra bling. And then the little bike is just from one of my stamp sets from my stash from Close to My Heart. But I love how this looks. I don't do that often, but I do feel like I often just get inspired with my photo and what we're wearing for the paper, because I love how I was wearing a yellow top, and then we have a lot of yellow in the paper. So if in doubt, you can always look at your photos to see what paper you can use. This layout is also one I have a process video on. It's probably one of my favorite collections from Stampin' Up, and it's called the To the Market collection. And I'm just trying to angle my light here a bit better. And I just love this paper because it was very vibrant. I love everything that has like veggies or fruit on it. And yeah, I just really, really like this paper, and it has a bunch of different colors in there, so it's very versatile to use for other elements, not necessarily the farmer's market, but yeah, these elements are just so cute. And I did notice when I was taking out a lot of my papers out of the memory protectors, it is so important to use dimensionals, because a lot of what you like just manually fluff up or like try and squeeze to have a little bit more dimension, that all just falls flat when you put it in your memory protectors. But of course, with using dimensionals, you'll just have that extra piece underneath to keep it upright. This is another layout that I have a process video for. It's a summary layout I put together to celebrate Jay Mamami's 20K here on YouTube. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about it since I have that video. I'll link it down below. But I just love how summery this turned out, and I love all the little fruit elements like I was just mentioning. That one was veggies, the last one. This one is fruit. But yeah, I like that. I think it's always really, really cute. The next layout is one that I put together from my stash because this is a very old collection from close to my heart, and I think it was called Cosette, if I'm right. And I just love the colors in this. It's very soft and muted. And then some of these are just from Stampin' Up, like these stamps and these dies. I just love how all of this looks together. I love kind of sometimes going back to your stash and using up some of the products and putting together really, really beautiful layouts. This one is also a single spread layout using a lot of products from my stash. So this was a trip we did last year when my husband's family was here. I actually cut this out from Cricut, so I just added all these little elements and made that repeat. And I really liked how that turned out, to have the little like cutlery come across, and then all the other elements are just from some close to my heart stamps that I used and die cuts. And I just really like how this turned out. It's very simple, but it's really cute. This layout is using some Stampin' Up papers and die cuts. This was from the Christmas collection from last year. And then these dies are, I think, from close to my heart, but I can't really remember. These dies with the little Christmas balls are from Stampin' Up. I'm definitely going to be reusing these this year. Just because I think these always just look really, really festive to have on your page. And I love the gold foil paper. Isn't that so pretty? So yeah, I still have some of that paper left, so I'm really excited to use some more of that because I still have a lot of photos from our New York trip that we did in, I think this is, oh, I have it right here, 2022. So I have a lot more pictures of that I'm excited to scrapbook. This was also from that same New York trip, and this is the Winter Meadows paper from Stampin' Up. It's also one of my favorites. It's just so, so, so beautiful. And I added some of that shimmery embossing paste to, this is the Seasons of Green and Gold die set from Stampin' Up. And I think that just creates a really beautiful effect on these little die cut pieces. Almost looks like, you know, like there's just snow on the tips of those. I think that looks really, really cute. But yeah, that's all using that Winter Meadows pack, and then a couple of these little elements I had in my stash for the words as well, but the rest are all Stampin' Up die sets. I really like the Stampin' Up die sets because they have a lot of like standalone dies that I love to use. This is a layout using the Take to the Sky paper, which at first when I saw this, I was not interested in whatsoever. And then I fell in love with the colors in this, and I felt like you can definitely use this for more than just like, I think it was like Aviation inspired, but like I think this just looks really nice for outdoorsy layouts. I have my journaling here on the tab that I can pull out. But yeah, and then these dies are also one of my favorites from Stampin' Up. They're the Forever Fern or Fern dies, and you can just like add them as little corners for your photos, and I think that just looks really, really nice. I also, if I'm not mistaken, have a process video out for this layout too. This is a layout using an old Stampin' Up 6x6 paper pack. And I just love this paper. I bought this secondhand off of like one of those Facebook groups. Look how pretty that paper is with that shine in there. And then these letters are the a la mode letters, and I don't think you can see it, but I added some like glass glue to these so they have a really beautiful effect, like almost like a water, like they're, you know, like the letters are wet from the top, but you can't really see it on camera. And these are a lot of dies from Stampin' Up as well, from the To the Deep, and I think they're all from the To the Deep set. So I really, really, really love those. And then this is the other side. This is a close to my heart embossing folder. But I just really loved how that turned out. And I actually had a lot of photos from this like one specific moment. So I added this, it's stuck so I couldn't really take it out. So I added this flip flap that I just kind of added a couple more elements from that paper pack just to have everything tie out. And I stuck it down so that it's like right in between these embossing folders so that I can just flip this open and see the rest of the layout. But yeah, this is such a beautiful paper collection from Stampin' Up! And then the next layout is one that I do have a process video on. It's using the Boho Vibes paper collection, and I use this to celebrate Aaron Jacobson's 30K here on YouTube. So I have that link down below because I kind of go in detail on how I put this one together. And then the next layout, we're almost to the last one. This is using the Turtly Cute and the Utterly Amazing paper sets that I wanted to kind of use a card idea where you pop up the inner kind of square here to have that really cool effect to create this double spread layout. And I really liked how this one turned out. So I have that video linked down below as well. And then the last layout I wanted to share is the one I did quite recently. It's using some more paper of that Everyday You and Me collection. I love this with like that gradient effect going throughout the paper. And then I used a bunch of the To the Deep dies. They're one of my favorite dies. They are just so great. And then I added some gold foil to that just so everything has a beautiful shine, or some of that shimmery embossing paste. But I think outdoorsy layout or beach or coastal layouts are definitely my favorite ones to put together. So yeah, I had a lot of fun creating this layout. And again, using dimensions is just great because it just never falls flat into your memory protectors, because it'll just always provide that extra push. And it's just so much nicer to look at. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, watching this video. If you did like my layouts, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will have the videos or the layouts I have a video on listed down below. I try to upload once a week a new scrapbook layout video. So if you've been liking my channel, please subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye everyone.